Cthulhu death may die. Ghatanothoa, out of the Aeons. They call me Tiog, High Priest of Mu, the doomed continent. It seems absurd to recount my tale from this cursed state, my consciousness trapped in this mummified husk. But I cannot remain silent. My mind, though encased in leathery death, screams with a clarity that neither time nor fate can diminish. I must tell you of what happened, and why you must never repeat my folly. In life I was a man of great faith and even greater ambition. The people of Mu revered me as their spiritual guide, but in truth I craved more than their worship. I craved truth. My ambition led me to study the ancient scrolls, forbidden tomes that whispered of powers older than the gods of my ancestors. One name loomed larger than all others: Ghatanothoa, the Devourer. The elders warned me against seeking such knowledge. But how could I resist? The legends told of Ghatanothoa's dwelling atop Mount Yadith-Go, the tallest peak in Mu. It was said to be a god beyond comprehension, whose visage alone would curse the beholder to eternal suffering, mummification in body, but not in soul. Yet I did not fear the tales. I believed the ancient texts held the key to protection, the means to challenge even a god. I crafted the scrolls myself, inscribed with incantations I believed would shield me from its curse. I told myself I was doing this for my people. In truth, I wanted to become the one who faced and banished a god. When I announced my intent to ascend the mountain and confront Ghatanothoa, there was silence in the council chambers. My fellow priests were aghast. They pleaded with me, urging me to abandon this suicidal quest. "You risk not only your life but your very soul," they cried. "No mortal can stand against such a power." Their cowardice disgusted me. I ignored their pleas. What I did not see, what I could not see, was their treachery. Fearing the consequences of my defiance, the priests conspired against me. On the eve of my departure, they replaced my protective scrolls with false replicas, mere imitations devoid of power. I left for the mountain, blind to the betrayal that would seal my fate. The ascent was grueling. Yadith-Go was no ordinary mountain. It was a place where the air shimmered unnaturally, where the wind carried whispers in a language no human throat could form. The very earth beneath my feet seemed alive, shifting and groaning as if resentful of my presence. But I pressed on, clutching my scrolls and chanting my incantations, my voice firm with the arrogance of a man who believes he understands forces far beyond his grasp. And then I saw it. Ghatanothoa did not reveal itself all at once. At first there was only a shadow, a vast, undulating mass that defied logic or geometry. My mind struggled to process what I was seeing. It was as if the world itself was tearing apart to make room for this thing. Then came the light, a searing, pulsating radiance that seemed to pierce through my flesh, my bones, and into the deepest recesses of my soul. I raised my scrolls, reciting the words with all the fervor I could muster. But the light did not falter, nor did the presence retreat. Instead, the scrolls began to crumble in my hands, the words dissolving into ash. I screamed, not in pain, but in realization. The protections I had placed all my faith in were nothing but lies. The betrayal of my brothers had left me utterly defenseless, and that was when the curse took hold. I felt my skin tighten, my muscles contract. It was not like aging. It was instantaneous, violent. My limbs locked in place, my breath ceased, and yet I remained fully aware. I wanted to cry out, to plead for mercy, but my body was no longer my own. I could feel the layers of my being separating, my physical form hardening into this grotesque parody of life, while my consciousness remained untouched, screaming into the void. They carried me back down the mountain, those priests who had doomed me. I could not see them, but I could hear their whispers, their prayers of absolution. They called me a martyr, a savior, though they had only preserved my corpse as a warning to others. I was entombed in a crypt, bound in wrappings marked with their false inscriptions, and sealed away in the volcanic heart of Mu. And there I remained, a living death, for millennia. When the continent sank beneath the waves, I hoped for release. I prayed for oblivion, for some merciful end to this torment. But the curse of Ghatanothoa is absolute. My crypt endured, carried through the eons by forces I cannot comprehend. Aeons later, my tomb was recovered by a museum in what was now America. When I was unearthed by those fools in Boston, their tools scraping against my eternal prison, I felt hope for the first time in millennia. Surely they would see the truth of my condition and put an end to my suffering. But no. They displayed me as a relic, an artifact, a curiosity. They pored over the inscriptions on my wrappings, marveling at their craftsmanship, unaware of the agony they bore witness to. When they gazed upon my face, they spoke of horror and fascination. I longed to warn them, to tell them to turn away before they shared my fate, but I could do nothing. Now I remain in their museum, a prisoner on display, and I can feel the presence of Ghatanothoa growing stronger. It is awake, watching through me, waiting for the moment to reach out and claim them all. My curse is no longer mine alone, it is spreading, infecting those who dare to look too closely. I am Tiog, High Priest of Mu, and this is my warning. Do not seek the knowledge I sought. Do not look upon the face of the devourer, for if you do, you will join me in this endless, screaming silence for all eternity. Cthulhu, death may die.